Hello, this is Andrew Theophilopoulos with my Lab 2 demonstration video. My PI is Davis Lester and I am in class number 10885. So let's get started with the demonstration. So the first thing I'll be demonstrating here is my one input mux. So right now the switches are all set to true. And so this first switch is going to be actually our electronic switch, and then the other two are going to be our one is an active low input, as you can see right here, and the other is an active high input, as you can see right here, because these are the true positions. So right now here you can see our LED output, which is also an active low. So right now, since everything is set to true, this second input right here is actually going to control our switch. So I just switched it and turned off. If I switch the other one, it will not affect it because it is the electronic switch is set to the other path. But if I flip the electronic switch here, then our second one will no longer dictate the LED, as you can see, and then the third one will dictate it. As you can see there, I just switched the third one and the LED went off. The next thing I have to display is a 4 input mux. So right now the LEDs are, these switches are not set to true because the switches are also for the hex, but you can see here that we have two electronic switches here. So the first two are our electronic switches. They're both active high, so if we set them to 1, 1, then we the rest of the inputs are all active low, or most of them are active low. D2 is actually active high. So then it goes from D3 to D2 to D1 to D0, and basically each of these corresponds with a binary code that is represented by the two switches. So for instance, right now the switches are set to 1, 1, so D3 and 1, 1 is equal to 3 in decimal if you convert it from binary. So right now our D3 switch, when we set it to its true state for low, the LED turns on, and you can see when we touch all the other switches it has no effect on the LED. And then if we say go from 1, 1 to 1, 0, now the D3 switch is not affecting our LED, and instead the D2 switch, which is the next one over, is the one that will affect the LED. This one actually is active high. It's the only one of the input switches that is active high. And as you can see, none of the other switches are impacting the LED. Now, if we go from 1, 0 to, say, 0, 1, we will now see that it is this fifth switch here, which is also D1, that's impacting the LEDs. And yeah, there's that. Yeah. And then it's the same for the last one. I can show you that real quick, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I'm running out of time here, and I do not want to record another video. So when we set it to 0, 0, it's going to be that last switch D0 that will now be determining our LED. Yeah. So that's not 0, 0, that's 1, 1, sorry. Yeah, so when it's 0, 0, that last switch is going to determine our LED right here. It's also active low, as you can see. When it's in that on position, the light goes on. Anyways, now the last thing I have to show is our 7-segment hex to 7-segment display. So it's kind of hard to angle it here, but you can kind of see. So right now, this display has 5 inputs, right? And it's actually the same switches as that mux. So the first switch actually works as a enabler. So right now, the enabler is actually an active low. So now that the enabler is in this position, it will allow it to work. Actually, you know, Dr. Schwartz said the enabler is active low. I don't think it is, but we'll see. Anyways, so we have our enabler set to the position where, so now everything is set to 0 for the active high, which is the next 4 switches, which are corresponding, of course, to a binary code a hex code actually, that will then be converted to, well, binary code that would be converted to hex into the seven segment display. So first we have 0. I'm not going to go through all the numbers because I'm running out of time, but I'll show you 1, and I'll show you 2. That's 1. I'll show you 2. I'll show you 3. Yeah, 3. There's 3. Let's do 4. And then I'll show you like a later one, just so you know I didn't just do the first few, which would have been kind of hard to do. So yeah, I'll show you F, which is the last of the hex. Yep, there's F. Okay, thanks for watching. Sorry for going over time, but I'm like been up for 7 hours, and I'm just gonna submit this video.